Hi, I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Rezero Season 2, Episode 1. We're back. No more fun OVAs in the snow or great lore OVAs about characters that we don't get to see often of their backstory and how their contracts come to be. No more of that.
But, possibly more forging of bonds.
And possibly,
you could always keep forging bonds.
and very likely, more depression.
Mm-hmm.
Rezero.
Yeah. That's what we've come to expect is traumatic events.
So, going forward into the season, my legitimately my only guess going forward is probably have to do something with the candidates again.
Focus more on, the
and
candidates.
Then, assuming we are going to run into other fingers, if you will. And other than that, those are my two very vague ideas of, what to expect out of the season. I don't know if we're going to get into anything deeper in terms of witch material, but I imagine we're going to get pretty deep in terms of emotional state.
And in terms of trying to look at the OVAs for any foreshadowing of what might be coming up, I think we can be under the impression that they weren't really meant for maybe that, and that they might have been actually timeline-wise more within Season 1.
Yeah.
And a great place for some foreshadowing would have been when Puck literally says sloth and slothful in Forged Bond.
Yeah.
And if that had been a different sin, then I would have been like, that's the sin that we're going to meet, the finger we're going to meet next, but...
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous. Yeah?
Yeah, I don't really have any clue.
Episode 1, you get nothing too bad could happen in Episode 1,
Maybe.
right? I say, while I'm like, oh shit. I don't want to lock myself into something awful happening.
I feel like once you've said it out loud, you've already locked yourself in.
But now that I'm expecting something bad could happen, maybe it goes back the other way.
Subvert your expectations.
Ready?
Yep.
Sweet.
I was like, oh, a nice sunshiny day, but... Oh wait, not a storm.
A rumbling.
All of the carriages returning everyone back to the village?
I'd assume.
Now that everything's safe?
Ah.
There he is. That's a smooth ride.
Yeah.
There's no bumps at all.
Otto's capable when he needs to be.
The jealousy. It's not.
A challenger approaches.
She's serious. She's challenging.
The score is so interesting.
And we didn't lose anyone.
Oh, Julie. Of course.
No, we're best friends forever.
No, it's okay. I love you.
Oh. Are we telling
God.
her? Oh. You better be clear with whatever you're trying to say here. Oh no.
You don't think it's like a... I feel bad if I'm misvibing this, but I don't want there to be a Who is Rem thing.
What?
How? My heart
She went with
dropped halfway through that
Krush.
conversation. Did one of the whales somehow live and kill her?
But she's
Oh, fuck.
she's with Krush.
When is this?
Did they get attacked on the way? With all the injured? No, what? How in the world? I don't
even want to watch this.
Who is that?
Is it like the embodiment of the whale, or is this like the actual whale? He's wearing white.
And not a human being, probably, by using that language or something.
Oh!
What the? How did that even? The color
What
scheme.
the fuck? Gluttony. Greed. Corneous.
And lie. There's two of them. How long it took us to get Sloth.
But even if she's dead, why would she go away from memory if it's not from the whale?
Seeing like bobbing in the
Yeah.
background.
I don't want to see it. How strong are they?
Oh my god. What the fuck is happening?
The Flash.
Was that... No way, that was like a grown-up version of her in that Flash. It's like it took her whole past, present, future. I'm pretty sure that was like a grown-up version of her in that Flash. Is Krush dead? What the fuck? So if you're eaten by the white whale, eaten by gluttony... How is it possible to do this again?
I don't know if you can. What the fuck? And her body's... Nothing to wake her makes me think that she's going to be in some sort of coma or something and not dead, right? Yeah.
Where do you start over? Go! Go!
It's too late.
No.
This is his new restart point. This is his new return by death
There's no
point.
way.
Fuck off.
I'll make it in time. Can Puck do something? Her name and memories.
That's so fucked up. It was easier to deal with when it was a whale. You need to defeat gluttony, right?
Is Krush okay? Remembers. Were her memories taken?
Maybe it was just her memories were eaten and not her name. Looks like she has both arms currently, right?
Might be an illusion. I don't think we saw the hand.
I see both hands.
No healer could fix.
Huh.
What a name for it.
Don't you dare.
Are they only considering that gluttony was there because they don't have anyone with a memory that was introduced?
That's a good point.
根絶やしにしようって執着してる。
やめろバカバカしい。悪いのは鉄頭鉄尾あのクストムだろうが。攻める相手を間違えるんじゃねえよ。
経験の差ってやつ。
フェリス、今の発言は聞き捨てなりません。謝罪しなさい。夏木スバル様のおっしゃる通り、事の責を問われるべき相手は明確です。
はい。
I love Krush with or without memories.
皆様、謝罪いたします。
I'll always remember.
スバル君もごめんね。けどこれだけは言わせて。約束の同盟のお話だけど、なかったことにしない。このまま魔女教に狙われ続けるエミリア様に協力しろと。それでクルシュ様がこれ以上傷つかないってスバル君約束できる？
それを
私はその意見には反対ですの。
なんでビルジーが反対するの？クルシュ様がこんな風になっちゃって。
九段の矢からクルシ様を襲った暴食に対し報復を行う機会が訪れましょう。
それがクルシュ様のお命より大事だって言うの？何もわからなくて覚えてなくてなら戦おうなんて思わないでしょ？ですよね。ねえ、今は叩かなくても私の魔法で解決してみせるから危ないことはもう。
She wants to be a candidate.
フェリス、
She is a
心
candidate.
配してくれてありがとう。それでも今の私を尊重してくださる皆様にまずは感謝を。フェリスが私を本心から心配して私の手を引こうとしてくれていることはわかります。あなたの言葉に従って安全な道を歩くこともできる。何も知らないまま流されるのは嫌なんです。何かを選ぶなら誰かの言いなりではなく自分の意思で選びたい。
Yes.
クルシュ様。
フェリス、
クルシュ様がこうおっしゃる以上、同盟の解消は誰も望みますまい。
はい。
I think Krush with her memories would have agreed.
多大なご迷惑をおかけします。
They keep showing the knife. Is that to remind us that he can't go back and he can't undo this?
俺は強いって
Yeah,
お前は言ってくれ
it
たけ
could
ど、
be.
そうやって強がる俺ってやつも見つけた。
やっぱりここにいた。
エミリアか。なんか用事あった？
なきゃ来ちゃいけない。私もこの子レムさんの関係者のはずでしょ。
レムさんか。ラムの妹なのは説明いらないでしょ。
わかる。間違うわけないわ。
How's Ram going to react to not remembering her own sister?
何もできないわけだし。
でも何かしたいと思ってるのは本当でしょ。そうやって心がずっと頑張り続けてたら先に体の方がくたびれちゃうわ。私スバルにすごく助けられてる。本当に本当。きっと大丈夫なんて分かったようなことを私言えない。スバルの気持ち分かってあげたいけど忘れてしまったこの子のこと。何も分からない私が何を言ってもスバルを傷つけるだけだと思うから。レムのこと一人で抱え込んで悩もうとしないで。
Oh,
ちゃんとスバルの悩み。
oh, she's
Amelia's
like
stepping
returning the
up.
favor, giving him back what
君は
he
レムの
gives
こと
to her.
何も覚えてないのに。
覚えてなかったら何とかしたいと思っちゃいけない。スバルがこんなに悲しい顔するぐらい大事に思ってる子なんでしょ。私も助けてあげたいって思うのはそんなに不思議？スバルが助けてくれたみたいに今度は私もスバルが傷ついているなら何とかしてあげたい。
エミリアタンすげえな。エミリアでよかった。エミリア、一つお願いがあるんだけど、後ろを向いててくれる？ちょっと泣く。
分かった。
That's a well-deserved cry.
俺は必ず
Yeah. It's not just about saving Amelia anymore. Rem's like really involved in this now.
必ずお前の英雄が必ずお前を迎えに行く。待ってろレム。
Okay, that was ReZero Season 2, Episode 1. Weird thing to say, I think, right now, but I feel an immense amount of hope.
Mhm. It feels like a dire situation was shown to us and put in front of us, but what we're given is also this idea, especially by Rem's language in front of gluttony and in front of greed, that her hero is going to be the one that defeats them,
Mhm.
that this battle is not over, and what is happening, the sleeping beauty illness, that Rem is going to wake up again because of Natsuki Subaru.
Yeah.
That is the feeling that we are given by this episode, and they did this amazing flip where we have at the end, maybe the majority and especially the end of, especially the white whale fight, we have Rem being the support for Subaru in order for his goal to save and protect Amelia from the witch's cult. And now we have this flip where Amelia is the one that is going to shoulder this burden with him in order to not only save Amelia from the witch's cult, but save Rem and everyone else from the witch's cult. It's like Subaru's goal with the defeating the witch's cult was very, very isolated focus, hyper fixated focus on Amelia and her plight and how people viewed her and her involvement in it, the fact that she is what they are looking for as a vessel for the witch. But now I feel like his view has been broadened to realize, no, not only for Amelia's sake do I need to rid this world of the witch's cult, but for Rem and everyone else, I need to rid the world of the witch's cult.
Yeah. But at the moment, it's not the witch's cult, right? It's
specifically gluttony.
Yeah. Because they don't even know, who is there.
I knew it looks like her as a mom of Subaru's kid or something, right? In the Flash.
I'm trying, because there's 3 different shots, but we are without a keyboard today, so it's going to be hard.
Yep, oh, yes, many children. And some of them have Subaru's looks and blue hair. Others have Subaru's hair color.
I wish I could get on the other one. It's not going to be easy to. But it looked like a close-up of Subaru, maybe. Right?
Yeah, I only noticed Subaru and one, I guess the son that has his eyes but Rem's hair.
Yeah, damn.
All of her hopes and dreams for the future, her present, every part of her, was taken.
Dude.
She's completely empty. What a way to show that, and they made it go so quick. I don't know, what did you see when that happened? Did it go too quick that you didn't see any of them? Did you just see one of them?
I saw the last one.
I saw the one of Rem holding the baby.
If I'm honest, I assumed that it was Rem's mom, but obviously we've already seen them.
Mm-hmm.
But based off of the idea that it's memories, I was like, okay, it's not in the future, but now I understand that it was you're cutting that off you're cutting her future off.
Mm-hmm.
Memories past, present, and
future
that have yet to even happen.
And so you're literally emptying her out. Sleeping Beauty illness. Disease.
Halfway through the conversation in the beginning, I felt like this horror, legitimately in my stomach. My stomach started to hurt, and I was so worried about saying my fear that it might be a who is Rem situation, because there was no evidence to back it up, but also it I didn't want to ruin a funny moment or fun moment if there was one there in a response.
If Amelia was trying to make a joke.
Yeah, but I thinking of I was going back and forth in my head during that scene when I first started feeling that way, because I'm no way, but then right the second I thought no way, there's no way, there's nothing to back it up, I'm this is ReZero. If you need something to happen in episode 1 right off the bat, they could go down a route with that I'm still I guess I'm struggling to understand. Like, so did Gluttony take part in making the white whale? Like, why are their powers somewhat like of a crossover?
So the white whale was never given. Wasn't the white whale I don't remember if Puck gave the white whale a title other than the white whale, but I feel like the word gluttony might have been brought up in that conversation.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, I mean, Betelgeuse had how many of his own little fingers to switch between?
That's true.
I feel like it's possible that the whale is definitely tied to the gluttony that we meet there. And that gluttony is so strong that, I mean, it had these other forms, these other pawns to be used that aren't actually the main body and aren't actually very strong.
Did you at all feel like going up to it that something bad was gonna like the idea of something bad happening to the rest of the group, or something to like halt the nice fun momentum with Petra? Like, I feel like there were only so many things that could have happened if something was to go wrong. Did you have like an impending doom feeling during that interaction, or were you kind of like with the, all right, we're picking up where we left off and we're gonna have these interactions until we get back for now?
I didn't have any feelings that anything was going to happen there until obviously the who is Rem, like until he brought up Rem. I was kind of like, okay, what are we gonna get here with Subaru bringing up, oh, I gotta tell her, that someone else confessed their feelings for me. I was like, why are they giving us this, other than maybe it's just nice for you to communicate to someone you like that there is someone else, like, so transparency. I was like, okay, maybe we're just trying to have a healthy communication dynamic where we're transparent about other possible love interests or jealousy moments or something, especially with the Petra scene right before. My mind wasn't going that there was anything bad that was about to transpire.
I was like, you're not showing us Amelia's face while Subaru's talking about this. That's either for like comedic relief or something else.
I
but
took
right
it
now,
as they were
comedic
trying
relief.
to make the viewer possibly guess that she might be like pouty jealous hearing this.
When I read the line, I'm prepared to be knocked out by Ram when I tell her, that's like when my stomach started hurting.
Because of the language there about telling someone about this and Ram's involvement?
Yeah, like, if nothing happened with the whole who is Rem thing, this line would have still worked as it's written. Mm-hmm. But it's just like,
it might mean more because of what happened. Yeah,
the detail and like further exposition here. Like, okay, if this was episode 1 of a new show, I have no worry here. Mm-hmm. I have no bad, like, it's upset feeling in my stomach.
That nothing bad was going to happen.
Yeah.
In Rezero, it's just that I didn't think.
The who is Rem?
I think it's more that I didn't expect what it was.
Yeah.
What the thing was that was chosen. And my reaction after it happened, I believe I kept saying something like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way that this choice was made to bring back something that happened during the White Whale.
It's the... and then he's like, it's actually about Rem. Like, there's only... Like, they're dramatizing the moment so much if it isn't comedic that it's like, okay, if it isn't comedic, what's the farthest they could legitimately go that could like make us feel that Rezero feeling? Mm-hmm. And the only thing that came to mind was the who is Rem, right? And granted, I'm still like, how does that like that? It's crazy to me that the white whale can possess that as well as gluttony,
Right. I think I wish I could go back and hear dialogue about the white whale again in terms of its powers. Was it called a maw beast? I can't even remember now if it was. I thought it was.
The Fog of the White Whale, this is a different notebook, so apologies, but I believe that it was, no, it has to be a maw beast because it's drawn to Subaru, right? What the witch's scent.
So it seems like it must be kind of a pawn of gluttony, or what it might be is that it is a warning sign that gluttony's around. That's what it could be, like a mob beast that takes on similar attributes to the sin of gluttony would probably be around the location that gluttony is. And it could be like, gluttony's around, look, the white whale's in the sky, or I heard the white whale's over there today. Gluttony's probably somewhere nearby.
I feel like from a writing point of view, this was such a brilliant decision to bridge seasons and bridge arcs potentially, because it's like obviously
Which
referencing something that we are given earlier in the season that stayed with us and scarred us a bit. But I wonder if you go back the last few episodes of season 1 with Subaru's interactions with, Ram and Amelia, and like the holding of the sign and all like the funny gags and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
If at any point during those conversations what happened to Rem happened and we could like somehow notice.
Rem was not brought up by Ram, I don't think, at all.
No?
I don't think Ram brought up Rem in those interactions. Maybe at first she did, but I don't even remember that. I feel like it was not brought up. I feel like we just get this dialogue idea that Ram has been filled in on the situation, and that is it. Just like a dialogue being like, oh, okay, so that's why you guys are here, and that the blank letter was fake, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that there was any actual, other than maybe Subaru thinking about Rem, I don't think we got any other character mentioning Rem in, like, after we departed for Rem. Like, after we said bye and we went on this Betelgeuse beat Sloth arc, I don't think Rem was brought up. But I could be wrong, and it was the case. It just doesn't feel like it was in the moment.
I get you. I'm trying to think, because we had Ram show up with the flower, which obviously was a different meaning, but in terms of them arriving to the mansion and talking while Subaru was wearing the cloak so that he wouldn't be recognized,
We talk about Betty.
We do talk about Betty, but I don't know for a 100% fact that there was no talking about Rem. I'd be really interested to know, though.
Especially timing of when, how far, they weren't very far when they got attacked by Gluttony and Greed.
Yeah.
From where they had originally departed, which makes it like kind of surprising or hard to believe that no one noticed or saw that during this whole happening that we get. But I mean, time can be so thrown off with this show because of the ability to restart a path, restart a route, that time gets so skewed. Because yes, this was probably just a night in actuality, an actual timeline. The events that are just defeating Betelgeuse basically take place maybe over like the course of a day into night.
Yeah.
So it once you remind yourself that, like, yeah, it might have taken 6 episodes, but that wasn't 6 days. That was a few restarts, but
the fact that not only Rem is somewhat like comatose here, but like there's a body is a huge W in my book. The fact that Krush, and I assume a couple of other people based off of the language, not only have their body, but they also have their name, just not their memories, is another massive W in terms of trying to be Subaru and communicate this happening to other people. Like if you
well, luckily Phyllis said that there was a word for it in the capital, and it was called the Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, but like for Subaru's position of trying to explain who Rem is and how instrumental they were in not only his life but other people, it definitely helps his case that there is especially like a body there.
It's different than the whale, which you literally get. Is there even a body?
Well, there were several people who I assume died from greed in the carts. I wonder if they, granted it wasn't from gluttony, I wonder if they had a similar like happening to what happened with the whale, where if let's say if Rem did die here, would it be exactly the same as to the whale, because part of me believes that it would. And if it was, and Rem died here and there was no body, it'd be much harder to identify that Rem and Ram are sisters. And
Yeah.
you
We're
know,
able to have that kind of feeling of like, I know, but I don't know. Like,
yeah,
I have no memories of this person, but I can see with my eyes that they are an uncanny resemblance to someone I do know. And you're telling me it, and I trust you. I do want to, like, talk about something that you really, like, brushed past really quickly in what you were saying. And that was about greed attacking.
mm-hmm.
I want to question that. Did greed actually attack other than Crush's arm?
I
Because
assume
Greed says this line like, I don't want to fight, you know? So would he do something unprovoked, like first attack the first carriage? Or was that just gluttony?
I believe that they were going right to him in
Yeah,
the
but
carriages.
gluttony like runs by and you can't even see him.
Run him over.
Well, so maybe he does do something because of that. But there's a flash, and we know Gluttony moved really quickly and was like slashing through things.
Yeah, but like I don't know how it was directed made me think that it was greed with how, you know, I don't know. Where his stance was, the color of the ability and explosion, it makes me think that it was him. It totally doesn't have to be though. It could easily be Gluttony. I about the lines of like him not wanting to fight or not liking it. It's a very interesting attribute to have for somebody in his position.
The only reason I brought it up is because the only clear identifiable attack he does is after Krush actually attacks him.
And that's why I assumed that he attacked the carriage, because they attacked him.
Okay.
You know, they chose to
try to run him over.
Exactly. And then Krush does the same, and it obviously Krush seems to lose a hand here, but it seemed like either Fellis was able to help that situation, or for some reason after the return by death that Subaru had, things played out somewhat
Slightly
differently. Yeah.
Which is an interesting idea, that things might have played out slightly differently.
Yeah. I never want to see Krush make that agonizing face again. It's horrifying.
We get this idea that spirits are not included in the normal people of this world and how they can't remember Subaru's different lives. I've always had the feeling that Puck had a sense of things to some extent. I feel like Wilhelm, as someone who I would say is very in touch with his spiritual side, has some sense, not as much as a spirit would, because he can look in Subaru's eyes and see something specific. Betty can also look at Subaru and see something specific in his eyes that gives the look and energy like he has experienced death multiple times. And we get this line from Puck when Puck appears that's like, Puck knows that it was Gluttony. Puck tells Subaru is Gluttony. And Puck says that this is someone who is important to Puck.
Yeah.
So,
nothing here gives me I could make the case that Puck knew, but nothing here tells me that he did.
Why would he come by himself? Why would he appear here? Just to tell Subaru at the end there, make sure you take care of Amelia?
That's a big one. Him just visiting her because he has a connection with her or is told that he does. Maybe Amelia suggested that he does. And 2 or 3, like if he does have knowledge about something like Gluttony, then I'm sure he'd want somebody like Subaru to know about it, about this information that Subaru might not have.
Right. He could have just come here in order to relay this information to Subaru, be the one that told Subaru, but also remind Subaru about, continue to protect Leah.
Yeah. I do wonder what the motivation was in him telling Subaru here to protect Leah. Like, is it like, oh, I see that this person that we know wasn't protected by you, don't,
I almost see it more as that I'm unsure exactly how much Puck understands about Subaru's condition. Obviously we know from Rem that Subaru smells like the witch's cult.
Yeah.
I'm sure that is not lost on Puck. I'm sure he can look in Subaru's eyes and see what Betty can see in Subaru's eyes.
I don't think either of them can see the return by death.
No, I don't think they can identify exactly what's happening with Subaru, but it seems like there would at least be a sense that Subaru is somehow involved with the witch's cult, was able to take down Sloth. I mean, Puck would probably be impressed by the fact that Subaru is a part of taking down Sloth.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that that's part of the reason that he said, I'm counting on you to take care of Leah. Like,
there's a trust there, I think.
Yeah, I think that he probably is somewhat aware, like take care, right? Like, it's not just the witch's cult who they need to be wary of. It's like, out of protection and care, Felis was like, we're gonna dissolve the alliance here. It's not mutually beneficial, and we need to put Krush first, right? And then came out and said what they said to Amelia about how they're after you. And in Subaru's defense of Amelia, that was taking care of her as well. Like, Amelia can, just based off of the lives lost and the trauma caused, it would be very easy for anybody in the Capitol or other candidates, if they desired so, to point fingers at Amelia and say, you don't want this stuff happening to you.
I think what we get there, in that same way that we get this flip-flop between Rem and Amelia for this episode, we also get this flip of the cards in terms of Felis's actions to Subaru's past actions in trying to almost make up for themselves what they should do and what the person they're trying to care for should do. And in Felis's case, Felis is doing this because Krush has no memories.
Yeah.
And so Felis is trying to take care of Krush. Krush can't make the decision because Krush doesn't know all the details. I'm going to step in with how I feel about it and almost have that be the priority there, a more selfish take on it, because Felis doesn't want anything to happen to Krush.
Yeah. I'm really glad that they had Felis do what they did this episode, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think that you could have just gone about it the way that they did without Felis's interjection, but it seemed like a real thing for Felis's character to do there.
And it was a nice parallel, I think, to the people opposite of the table from them. So I think it worked in multiple ways.
I'm glad that Wilhelm was like, I object to that shit. Get that shit out of here. That's not who I am. I loved it. I knew it was going to happen too, because I trust him with my life.
I know that Krush, when Krush has memories, is very about making sure things that are beneficial to her. But I think that was when we were talking about just the white whale. I think if we're talking now about, oh my god, all of Krush's people, a lot of them have been affected now by gluttony and by these sins, and the witch's cult is getting more and more active even in the capital. I don't think it's at a point where a future ruler can ignore.
Yeah, I agree with that. So my notes only go back to episode 14. What's the term for the ability or the thing given? It's like a gift or something.
Blessing.
A blessing. Do you think Krush, without any memories, still has a blessing that allows her to tell
Probably.
or to dictate truth from false?
I mean, that's a really good question. I feel like that wouldn't be lost because who Krush is wasn't stolen, just her memories. Like, Rem had everything stolen from her, but Krush's gift isn't a memory, it's a part of her blessing.
Maybe it's just like the ability, like the knowing of how to use a blessing.
Wouldn't you? I don't know, but like you're right to like question it and try to think about it. But if you think about if Krush has access to that right now, how much more comfortable you'd be. Like, Krush, for someone who has lost all your memories, she seems very competent and relaxed.
Oh.
And so that makes me think she has to still have the blessing, because if you woke up with no memories and you were horribly injured and you see a bunch of injured people around you and someone's like, you're in charge here, you know, I think you'd want to have more trust in what people are saying to interact with them the way that she's able to interact with them.
I'm half with you. Like, on one hand, I'm like, yeah, for sure, it'd be really nice knowing that everybody telling you, oh, you were a kind leader, this is the kind of food that you would like. You'd be able to believe them because you'd know if they were telling the truth or not.
Or just the situation you're in, your safety.
But would you have the same sense of cynicism if you had no memories? Like, would it be like, oh, like, you guys are talking to me, I'm fully trusting you, I'm not gonna doubt that to begin with, because you have no memories to base it off of?
I feel like if you have no memories, then you would be a little more cautious and a little more suspicious,
I would be
especially if you're
looking.
being told big ideas like you are in charge or you are our master.
I would be shocked, but I don't think I'd be suspicious. Like, I think that I'd be like, are seriously? But like,
Well, yeah, we don't see the whole period of time of telling Krush this whole situation. We just
Yeah.
get Krush appearing having already been told of her current predicament.
But I'm just talking about theoretically, right? If you were in that situation, you had amnesia, like, and somebody was like, this is, and telling you all about your accolades or anything. I don't, and like what position you actually hold and stuff. I think that there would be shock, but because of the memories being gone, the memories are what define a person, right? They make you who you are. They make you skeptical. Because I've watched season 1 of ReZero, going into season 2, I have a little bit of fear and like, uh-oh, like shit's about to go down probably, like in season 1 and how it fucked me up there, it's probably gonna fuck me up again. But if I had no memory of season 1, then I would come in here with no like predisposed feeling of expectation in terms of my emotional state being absolutely demolished.
I don't think you'd have such blind trust to what people are saying to you. You don't revert back to infancy in terms of your trusting of people and believing what they say. If you have no memory and nothing that people are saying to you sounds true to you because of that, you are not going to like wholeheartedly jump on board with what they're saying.
I don't think wholeheartedly, but I think that
there's an amount of composure that Krush has that might just be innate to her personality, but I find it, to me, it seems more like she just is able to have a trust towards what they're saying. And how else could you have a trust towards these people you don't know and what they're saying unless either you're just an overly trustworthy innate personality, like internally you're just always really gullible and trustworthy, or the blessing still stands of being able to tell if someone's
I don't think
the
it's
truth.
gullible and trustworthy if the memories are taken away, because then I think it's different. Like you'd be gullible and trustworthy based off of previous interactions you've had with other people and what your memories and have been about interactions with other people and feelings that you've had in the past. If all of that's stripped away from you and you're like, I don't have a name, where am I? And then the first person in front of you is like crying, like, oh, I'm so thankful that you're okay, Krush. And it's like, Krush, is that me? Oh, yeah, I'm gonna trust you. It obviously seems like you know me. Like, I don't think
But you don't revert back to so easily, like, oh, you said something about me that you're acting a certain way, I'm gonna believe you. I'm gonna trust you. I feel like that is not a lot to go off of for someone to just build immediate trust towards someone.
I don't know.
What if they're a murderer and they're fake crying fake tears out of a bottle?
What if you have no memory of what a murderer is?
You still remember concepts and ideas, you just don't remember your own life.
That's true. Okay, wait. It's not just own life, it's other people too, right?
Right. I mean, you might not remember who an actual murderer was, like a famous murderer.
Exactly.
But you probably remember the concept of murder.
No, I agree with you. You would remember the concept, but if you have no, like... So if you were predisposed to knowledge of, like, serial killers and how that they can be charismatic and trick people into stuff, right? And you have, like, references in your mind of specifics because of all these names and like this history of it that you've learned. If all of that's gone, then you might be aware and probably are that there are murderers or other people like that out there. But when you're blind waking up and you don't know anything and you see somebody who seems like they are genuinely caring about you, I think that 99 times out of 100 you're going to fully trust them.
I feel like I've never lost all my memories.
I've had amnesia one time.
For how long?
I think 2 days.
And you just blindly trusted. Your self-preservation and fight or flight, like your animalistic, deep down, fight or flight. self-preservation just went out the window as soon as someone told you something?
The weirdest part, I genuinely don't know how it works, but when I did it, it was when I had it. Apparently, it was after I had a concussion in 6th grade. It's almost like I have amnesia of when I had amnesia. Like I have no
Well,
memory.
when you have like traumatic brain injuries or trauma events, you do tend to like lose some of the memory from it.
But what I'm told is that I needed somebody to like walk around with me at school all day and be with me and just kind of like I went to school during it, and it was like, okay, this is your class, this is your seat, like sit here, do this. I that's the as far as the memory ends though. I have no idea what it was like. You'd have to ask somebody who's like around me at the time.
Gotcha.
But
See, I've had a concussion, but all I lost was literally the event that gave me the concussion.
I've had
Too many.
too many concussions, and nothing's ever come close to any type of amnesia. I don't even think I genuinely don't even know if that was one of the times that I've had a concussion, because I'm pretty sure most, if not all the times I had a concussion, I can remember.
Well, why else would someone have to tell you where you sat if you didn't have some type of memory loss?
I had amnesia. I don't know if
you
it
don't
was...
know how you got it. You don't know if it was a concussion that caused it?
Correct. I definitely hit my head. I made a slide out of God, I was in 6th grade. I made a slide out of cushions and hit my head on hardwood. Like a armrest.
How tall
hardwood.
was the slide out of cushions?
It wasn't too tall. But point being,
Could have stuck to a pillow fort and been a little safer.
the point that I was trying to make, which I guess is moot because I don't even remember it, I don't think I was like skeptical of what people were telling me. I think I was like lost and just like looking for an answer anywhere, and it just I think like...
Well, what about panicked emotions or anxiety that would come around from the memory loss?
I guess it
Like,
depends
would
on the
you be-
environment that you're in initially.
Okay, if you feel incredibly secure and safe in the environment that you're in, then maybe you wouldn't feel that way. And if you do, you wouldn't let it come across to other people.
Like if you wake up and you have amnesia in a bed surrounded by people who are like happy that you're finally awake versus waking up on the street alone with no memory of who you are, where you are, those are probably like very different circumstances of emotion and how much you're willing to trust people going forward, right? The environment that you're in.
Well, yeah, if you woke up in like a hospital room, like I'm sure part of you would be like, oh, well, there were doctors here that cared for me. I know what doctors are. They're trustworthy. And if they tell me that these are my parents and maybe everyone has their wallets and IDs and they match.
Do you believe in like that like innate or inner feeling of like I know something, like I have nothing to piece together those pieces of evidence, but you have like a feeling, like if you had amnesia and somebody told you that they were your parents, like do you think that you'd be able to tell if they were lying, like because you could tell, you would be like, oh, I know that you're my parents, I feel it?
I don't know. I guess that question is more like intuition as a concept. Is intuition actually just informed by your lived experience and your ability to recognize patterns in your life and ability to understand yourself and maybe the people that you interact with daily? And I don't know, is intuition informed by other factors, or is it truly deep within you, this sense that you get that is not informed by anything other than some amazing miracle?
I think it has to be a mix of both. Like I think that like that intuition is extremely real and strong, but when none of the variables or questions that are on the table would lead you to ever questioning a feeling, to consider that feeling to be intuition, then how would that intuition ever really exist? Or if it did, how would it manifest if there was no like push to give that idea of mind?
In terms of how we see this sort of idea be done in different media, I've definitely seen it go both ways, where a character that loses their memory or has amnesia has this internal intuition or just feeling of like, I I feel like I know this person
Yeah.
even though I can't remember them. And then other times it's more like every single morning I have to wake up and watch this video of my husband saying that they're my husband, and
Yeah.
then I go upstairs and I see them and they're smiling at me, and we have pictures all over the house together, and they read their own words in their journal. And it's not like if I walked upstairs without reading this journal, I'll have a feeling. So I've seen it kind of done two different ways.
Interesting. So, like, being extremely vague and quick about it, as much as I can be to try to at least stay coherent. When I was in 2nd grade, I learned that I was adopted, right? And then when I was in 8th grade, I learned, or I was told that I'm adopted, and I asked if I ever, if I was ever going to meet my biological family, which was met with an emotional response saying, you already know who they are. Now, before that conversation happened, I never once in my entire life would have ever, like, gone out of my way to be like, these are the people who were, who they are. But the second that,
was said to you?
Yeah, the second that question was put out there of, like, you know who they
them?
are, therefore, like, it opened a door to even think about it in my brain. I wish that, like, I had, like, a fly on the wall. It was instant, immediate, within seconds of, it's them, isn't it?
It's because you had a connection to them, and you wanted to be around them before you even knew.
But it's like all, like, everything started falling into place. It's like it's that conversation of, like, okay, you can have intuition, but intuition for a lot of times or a lot of scenarios can only get you so far. But if it's spurred on by, like, another question or topic,
something being prompted, something seeming something that almost gives your little intuition feeling approval, or reassurance,
or like yes, approval and assurance, but not like confirmation.
No,
like
just
saying
something
that
to keep you continuously thinking, like in a forward motion.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I have 2 more things to say about the actual episode. Sorry for derailing that a bit.
No, we were debating how Krush was acting this episode and what it means for the people that lose their memories.
And
I think we were
speaking
very
about
on topic.
how characters were acting this episode, this is one of the most rewarding episodes for me in terms of Amelia. I when at the end of the episode, she stepped up, man. Like, it really felt like something somewhat akin to everything Rem did and said to Subaru previously in season 1, and it feels really refreshing and great coming from Amelia. I loved it.
If for that topic, I want to bring up the OVAs that I guess we were either recommended to or watched the way that we did, where we watched them, Memory Snow and then The Forged Bond, and we watched them after season 1 and before season 2. I think that, if anything, having just watched those 2 pieces of content for Rezero...
Frozen Bond.
That makes so much more sense. It was forged in ice. That makes a lot more sense for how Amelia acts at the end here. That feels very satisfying.
Yeah.
To have been shown her origin story, to how she did act before, and how she came to be cared for by someone else, and what she was trying to do in terms of caring for others, and what she wanted to be able to give to someone else. And then we get her kind of doing that at the end here, like giving to Subaru the care that she had given to all of those ice elves, and what she was trying to do with the village. But it feels a lot more fulfilling to her because she knows it'll be accepted and met, and that someone does want her to care for them.
It makes me, I think that the OVA has made me, the Frozen Bond has made me appreciate Amelia's character tenfold. And I don't think that I would feel how much, I don't think I'd feel to the extent that I do now after this episode as I would if I hadn't watched it. I think that knowing the circumstances of Amelia's life from the glimpse of what we saw, it is extraordinary that she is able to not only act normal with other people, but be as emotionally intelligent and show something like the amount of empathy she was and care and situational awareness that she was with interacting with Subaru here. It was brilliant.
To come from hearing that line of dialogue in the Frozen Bond about just wanting to next step I can talk about the weather with them.
Yep.
To her being like, I'm
Exactly.
going to share in your burdens and like stand by your side. That sort of idea and energy that she's like, you are there for me and I am going to give my all for you and you are not alone.
Yep.
When the whole OVAs we got was kind of this idea of how isolated she feels and how truly alone she feels. And people are making her feel that way. It's not that she makes herself feel that way. Other people are definitely isolating her because
no pun intended.
for reasons she doesn't tell me about me, she said.
And then the last thing I have is I think that there are a lot of different things I really love about the show, whether it's the world or like the premise of ability that Subaru has or the characters or the writing, whatever. I think my favorite thing about this show is the voice acting. Like, there is such a massive range of like theatrics, of showmanship, of just over the top ridiculous, like, but my favorite is when they tone it down and get really delicate. Like, and like at the end of this episode when Subaru and especially Amelia were talking, it's like there's this like calm, like slow, soft, gentle, but like it's so hard to do in voice acting because like a lot of people, it's really popular nowadays to try to talk in a very like slow, deep or like thoughtful voice, and what that ends up being to is somebody gets really close to the mic, and you can hear the gain of when somebody gets close. I wish I was a VTuber, to be honest. VTuber seems so cool.
Hey, what's up?
but there's something that you lose so much when you get close to an input of trying to talk delicate. You lose what you're trying to reach by doing that, and they do it perfectly in this show. Subaru's man, it's amazing.
Subaru's range in terms of being able to, like, that kind of idea here we get at the end of the ugly cry, like literally snot everything, look away from me. Subaru's voice actor does that with his voice. Like, Subaru's voice actor gets ugly with the voice and screaming and pain sounds.
Subaru's
and
Betelgeuse?
Angst, like,
yeah.
Betelgeuse. Like, Subaru's voice actor's range is crazy. The amount of, like, places they go and how willing they are to go to weird places with the voice.
It's great.
It's great.
All right, that's all I have you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.